record. Okay, so first of all, I really want to congratulate all of you because in just like 7 days, we got almost 120 applicants. People coming from Web2 with no experience from Web3, people already with some experience in Web3. And so both me and John, we had to decide some criteria to choose the people that we could. Okay, someone is here. Okay, let me just mute. Okay, that's it. So I was saying that both me and John, we had to come up with some criteria to select some of you, which was really a balance between your previous experience already on Web3, because we don't necessarily want to go back into Web3 topics and things like those, at least not now. And also if you had already some experience working in any Web3 project. And so we have selected 40, almost 50 of you, so more or less less than 50% of the total number of applicants, because we believe that between 40 and 50 people is the best way for us to have a strong class of people that can meet each other, share experiences. And so some of you, I know that you are founders, or others are community managers with some experience on Web2, others are just learning while doing, and most of you are already in Web3 projects, okay? So we have people coming from MetaMask, we have people coming from Invisible College, also some other communities. We have with us Justin from Safari Club, which is the growth community for Web3. So we have here very cool people with a lot of experience. So I really want to help us on facilitating these moments for us to learn from each other, okay? And so I really want to welcome you all, and starting now with the agenda. So first, I really want to dive deep into what is Vinci, what is our goal here, and then to set the tone regarding the Web3 community building topic and how you can benefit from Vinci and what to expect going forward, okay? So regarding Vinci, so Vinci is basically, we are building this learning community to onboard the next generation of community professionals, okay? And behind Vinci, you can find me, Bernie. So my past experience, my background, I used to work, so I worked at PwC, and then I worked for 4 years at Deloitte, developing digital products for the financial industry, okay? And John, our co-founder here, so I am more into growth and community, while John is more the blockchain developer here. We first met at Deloitte 4 years ago, and we became friends since then. We have been involved in multiple projects, and the last February, we both took the crazy action of just quitting our jobs, our full-time jobs as senior consultants at Deloitte, to jump into Web3. And why? Because we were already buying into NFTs for almost a year. We were already involved in many DAOs and multiple communities. And so we really wanted to experiment these on the front row. And at the same time, we wanted to build something for communities, for people to find their tribes online, okay? And so this is our background, let's say, and we are the two people pushing Vinci here to lay down the foundation for all of us to bring people together to build something here worthwhile, okay? So our goal is not to make Vinci our project. Instead, the goal here is to us to be the facilitators and bring people together to discuss and learn about Web3 community building, okay? And so regarding our current experience on Web3, you can see already some communities that we have been usually involved. So I have been the growth lead at Odyssey DAO for three months. I have been one of the first elements and people at Invisible College. And so I am currently involved with Safari Club also, which is the growth community for growth people in Web3, and Zen Academy, which is a community for people willing to learn about NFTs. And John, who is much more dev than I, he's currently involved in Build Space and Developer DAO, which are two communities focused on developers, okay? And so currently, we at Vinci, we are building a group on Telegram that we are going to invite all of you just to keep in touch. Like soft day-to-day conversation, because I know that some of you spend a lot of time on Discord, but others not that much. And so I believe that Telegram will be able, or will help us to foster our relationships. At the same time, we are going to create a community group on Twitter just for us to be able to follow each other and share things on Twitter, because nowadays Twitter is the go-to place to keep learning and knowing people on the Web3 ecosystem. The Discord that you are currently, it is the place where we hang out, where we will keep also in touch with each other, but we will share resources, we will share details, and we will have some calls. And we are already prepping a Notion document to share with all of you, where you will find more details regarding our vision, what we are trying to do here. I'll share with you the resource hub, and the resource hub is the go-to place to find all the lessons, materials, the recordings, the slides, and all of that. Okay, so you will find all of that on Notion. Okay, and so just keep going to our Discord, and you will find all the details. And over the next couple of days, I'll keep sending you some emails with some information that you should know. And so now, regarding the Web3 community building, and this is the topic that brought us all here today. And so when we look at the growth of Web3 communities, this is the current landscape, okay? So we all hear on wherever we go, like Twitter and Discord groups, whatever, we all know that Web3 is growing, okay? But almost none of us use numbers to try to understand how much is it growing. So just by looking into 2021 in review, we can see, for example, that we had $64 billion traded on NFTs, okay? So this is huge, like $64 billion in NFTs. We have, for example, nowadays almost 5,000 DAOs. We have, regarding yet NFTs, we have 4 million people that have at least one NFT. And these DAOs, these almost 5,000 DAOs, have nowadays almost $8 billion in treasury under their management, okay? While at the same time, while NFTs keep gaining traction, so nowadays we have almost 150,000 NFT projects on Ethereum only, so not counting with Palm Chain, Wax Chain, Solana Chain, and others. And we have seen an increase in social tokens by 400%. Okay, so social tokens are tokens launched by, for example, creators that are currently launching their own tokens, communities that are not DAOs but have some sort of a token like Jericho, Kernel, and others. And so this is what we are currently seeing, okay? And in terms of the adoption rate, you can see here, and this is a projection from Deutsche Bank. So yes, I know they are a Web2 bank, but hey, they have a lot of reputation and a lot of credibility. And so as you can see, the yellow line is the adoption rate at which the internet was adopted. And this is the current adoption rate for crypto, and the other blue here is the projection. So as you can see, we all know that Web3 will grow, but this is how much and how fast, okay? And the cool fact regarding all these numbers is that what is happening is that these are indeed tokenized communities, okay? Beneath any NFT, beneath any social token, or beneath any DAO token, there is always a tokenized community, okay? So communities that are organized around a certain token, and a lot of people contribute to reach a common goal. And so we all know that Web 1 and Web 2 have been evolving into this so-called thing Web3, but the core thing here on all these different things that we have been changing or have seen changing is that nowadays the Web3 brings a new layer of community-owned businesses, okay? And so we nowadays can see, and we can find on these communities that we know are growing at a fast pace, we can find them fans, we can find investors, we can even find customers, and we can find contributors. Okay, and the cool thing about all these people that are part of certain community is that they are all owners of that business. They are all owners of that community because they have to buy into the NFT or the token of the community to be part of it. Okay, and so this is why communities are getting so big, and this is why they are so cool. Okay, I'm so excited with this vertical. And so the question that we should make ourselves is, why is it happening now? Okay, so over the last couple of years, from what we can recall from history, so in 2008, we had the white paper of Bitcoin. In 2015, we had the mighty god Vitalik making Ethereum and making it public. And suddenly we had the rise of DeFi. So decentralized finance was for years the only business use case that we could see on blockchain. Okay, and suddenly with the surge of the bike collection and many others like Cool Cats, Cryptodes, NounsDAO, and others, we saw a huge surge of NFTs, and NFTs brought Web3 much more into mainstream. Okay, and this is where we can find or see is that during less than 10 years, most crypto and Web3 ecosystem people were focused on building infrastructure. They were focused on scalability. They were focused on building different chains and cross chains and bridges and the right conditions for us to be able to build business on top of it. And now what has been happening over the last 2 to 3 years is that businesses have emerged either as NFT companies like Azuki, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Larva Labs, and others, or just by creating these DAOs, these DeFi DAOs or other DAOs. Like if we see here, for example, Forefront, they are a media company. So Rabbit Hole, they are trying to build the on-chain curriculum, okay? So Vector DAO, they are a service DAO. Pleasure DAO, they are investing in NFTs. And so Friends with Benefits are just a bunch of people willing to come up together to build stuff together. And so this is the cool thing, is that nowadays, these DAOs, these communities, they are actually building businesses. And so now that we are coming into the business side, that means that we need non-tech people too. So we need people that help us to build these communities. And these communities, most of the times for these DAOs, they are crucial because if a DAO can't retain or attract new people, that means that they will have less people contributing to their product or service. And if they have less people contributing to their product or service, they will sell less. And if a DAO sells less, their token will decrease in value. And if their token decreases in value, well, that's a hell of a future for that DAO. And that's why community managers and community professionals are so important, okay? And this is where me, Bernie, personally, I completely believe that while nowadays we only see the figure of Web3 community managers, and like we as community managers, we have to deal with a bunch of different things, like from content creation to overseeing people and project management and onboarding and a bunch of different things. I truly believe that the future of tokenized communities, they will disrupt and have an impact on marketing, on sales, on work, on funding, in the overall pipeline of value creation, okay? But the problem nowadays is that there is a huge lack in terms of people with the right skills and tools for us to manage these communities. And that's why the overall experience of a community member is so poor. Unfortunately, that's a fact. Okay, like we all know that Discord is a pain in the ass, and unfortunately, there is nothing better than Discord nowadays to build communities, at least not for Web3 communities. And if not, and if we don't go to Discord, what will happen is that we will have to deal with multiple tools like Google Docs on one side and Notion on another one, and then a Gnosis Safe to manage our treasury and whatever. So a bunch of different tools and things. And so I believe that the future of Web3 relies on the success of these tokenized communities. And why? Because these tokenized communities, whatever they are, NFT collections, whatever they are, DAOs, or just creators launching their own tokens and building communities out of it, the success of Web3 relies on their communities or these communities because these are the future businesses. Okay, these are people coming together to deliver a product or a service to solve people's problems or to create more value to the world. And that's why the success of the tokenized communities is so important for Web3. Okay, and so where does it leave us as Web3 community professionals? So I truly believe that Web3 community professionals, and these may seem completely crazy to some of you perhaps, but I truly believe that Web3 community professionals have perhaps the most important role in Web3, okay? And that role is like to onboard more people to their communities, to keep them engaged in daily activities, and to take them to contribute successfully into these DAOs or tokenized communities. Okay, and the thing is that Web3 communities, community professionals are then key in the future of Web3. I know that a lot of people, even today, I was making a tweet on Twitter saying like, the future of Web3 relies on the success of DAOs. And I had some people saying something like, yeah, I know that's true, but NFTs took Web3 to the mainstream. Yes, I'm not saying in the short term. I'm saying like in 10 to 15 to 20 years, DAOs and contribution to DAOs and working for tokenized communities will be the future of work. And that's how I believe in that, okay? And that's where community professionals will be key in building this future of Web3, okay? And so we are at Vinci here, we are on a mission, okay? And this is where we at Vinci play an important role, and where all of you also play an important role too. We are on a mission, and the mission is to onboard the next generation of Web3 community professionals, okay? And how we are going to do that is by delivering live batches, building a learning platform, but hey, I'll jump into it in a couple of seconds, okay? So the why regarding the need to onboard the next generation of Web3 community professionals, people just like you and me, the why is because Web3 depends on that, okay? This is true, okay? We may not want to face it, but the thing is that in order for us to keep building the centralized products and services, we will need more people to manage these groups of people, okay? And these people that will manage those groups of people are community professionals. And nowadays, I know that we only have the figure or the role of the community management or manager, but I believe that in 3 to 5 years, we will have community managers, community experience managers, we will have community designers, community engineers who will use, for example, no-code tools and bots and automation to build better experiences for their community members, okay? And so this is our mission, is to onboard as many people as possible by building the right community for them to start learning and coming together to share what they know. And so what are some of the Vinci's benefits? And this is where I want to share with you what we are here offering in terms of this community that we are trying to build with all of you, is that at first, we want to start training people with on-chain certification, okay? So this is one of the perhaps coolest factors, is that by being part of this batch too, we have been coding hard, or okay, not we, but John, so not something that I can take from my side, but we have been working hard to make sure that by the end of the current batch, okay, sorry. I don't know who is, okay. Yeah, so I was saying that we have been working hard to give all of you at the end of this current batch too, a soulbound NFT. So for all of you who have no idea what a soulbound NFT is, soulbound NFTs is a new concept introduced by Vitalik a couple of months ago. And what it means is basically that it is a non-transferable token, okay? So what that means is that you will be able to mine at no cost a certain NFT that will always be with you. You can sell it, you can send it to anyone, but it will help you to certify, or at least to showcase that you know already some things regarding community building on Web3, okay? And something that we hope we can build also is that, okay, by having that NFT, you will be able to unlock a job board with a lot of jobs opportunities from Web3 companies and whatever. So we can do a bunch of things with those. But this is one of the cool things that we are currently offering at the end of this current batch. The second thing is we really want to make sure that we can create the right environment to become a safe place for you to feel free to ask whatever question and find the right answers. Okay, so from sharing resources, I will keep creating these kind of slides and things to help you to have some guidance. I'll keep bringing more people also. So over the next couple of weeks, we will have people with experience who are already part of this community, who will jump into the stage, into a call with all of us to share their experience and things like this, okay? So that's how we can build this in a safe place for you to keep learning. And at the same time, we want to make sure that this environment, this safe place, is as collaborative as possible, okay? So I am a nobody, okay? The truth is that I am a nobody in this Web3 thing. This is huge enough for all of us. And so we have two options. We can either work together to come up with the first Web3 community building playbook, or instead it will be each one by itself. And I truly believe that Web3 is a positive sum game, okay? It's a long-term positive sum game. That's what I believe, and that's the big ethos behind Web3. And so how you will benefit from all of that is that every single week we will have weekly sessions. Some sessions will be, I'll be the one sharing some content. Other sessions, perhaps it will be some of you that want to share something and you can just jump to the stage. You can just jump here and start sharing something and your thoughts and learnings and things like these. And every single week, we will try to bring someone with more experience on community building to share their learnings. At the same time, by the end of this month or mid-July, we are going to launch our learning platform. And that learning platform will allow you to do the courses and have some education at your own pace, while at the same time to keep offering these live batches. And at the same time, we want to provide a network, okay? So for you to meet other people that are going through the same journey as all of you, okay? And so what's next? And I'm just finishing the presentation, and then I'll have time to jump into the questions. So what is next? So what's next is, over the next couple of weeks, things will keep coming up, okay? And that's the cool thing here in terms of building a community, is like we are learning while doing, and we are learning both with you and with other folks. So for example, just for you to have an idea, we started to share already our application for the third batch, which will start between the end of July or mid-August, something there. And the goal is to keep at least more 40 to 50 people to the community. Once again, high quality people with Web3 experience for you to keep learning from each other. And during all this time, we want to start hosting Twitter Spaces, hosting different events. We want to launch our own podcast, have our own newsletter, come up with our own content to try to help other Web3 projects regarding all things Web3 community building, okay? So the thing is, we will try to write the first Web3 community building playbook, okay? And so all of you are more than invited to help and to contribute as much as you want, to share the resources, to share your ideas, because these will be yours too, okay? By the end, the goal is to just provide the community building playbook to all the Web3 ecosystem for people to keep working on top of that, exactly as the Web3 has this open source and this transparency kind of way of being. And that's exactly how we want to keep working. And so this is the moment where I ask you if you have any questions, and I see here on the chat that we have already like 11 questions. So yeah, let's open the mics and feel free to make any question, okay? Damn, sorry.
Hey, hi, Bernie, Almas here. So first of all, thanks for accepting us in the community. It's excited to, you can say, get to know other community, you can say, members and professionals, what exactly they are doing, what are their implementing strategies. So first of all, thanks for Vinci and the team, you can say, behind all of this, and giving us that platform or that opportunity to connect. My question is with respect to how there was a tweet on a Twitter thread. It was like with respect to influencing. So when we say like how exactly influencer marketing comes, you can say, or you can say contributes to community building, like what part, or you can say it's a total different, you can say, ball game altogether when influencer marketing comes into picture. But when community comes in, how exactly you decide that this is your target audience, or this is the, you can say, uh, user base that you want to connect with or you want to have in your community? It's not like all the users that you see can be a part. Generic cannot be a part of, you can say, any community. There has to be some mission, vision, or so you can say some goals that binds the community. So what does the influencer marketing or signaling, at least, like when we say
Yes.
signaling, it just,
Yeah.
you can say, showing us that imposter syndrome, that I know that I know this domain, I'm a domain expert, but deep down when you get into, you can say, the domain aspects of it, you know, like it was very superficial. So that was all about signaling.
Yeah.
So with influencer, are we going on right track with respect to community building and all? Like, what's your perspective? I would sure
Yes.
like to know it.
Yeah, let me jump into that. And like, nothing that I will say is written on stone. Okay, so this is just my opinion. And so anyone that disagree with me, feel free to jump on stage and just share your perspective also. But what I can tell you is that, so I came to Twitter for the first time. I have my Twitter account since 2012, but I've never used it. Okay, so here in Portugal, most people don't use Twitter. That's like a thing both for San Francisco and India. I know these are like two heavy users of Twitter, but here in Portugal and Europe, almost no one uses Twitter. And so I just jumped to Twitter the last September. I had like 50 followers and I grew to 30K followers since then. And since then, I had a bunch of different Web3 projects, NFT collections, and things like these approaching me, asking me to start promoting their stuff. Okay. And this is where I think that I am not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer. All I do is I deconstruct Web3 and I share my journey as someone who is constantly and currently learning Web3. Okay. So I am not an influencer. I don't want to influence anyone. But what I can tell you is that, unfortunately, I have been seeing, and just by looking into the current NFT ecosystem and Web3 ecosystem, is that a bunch of people, just by having big audiences, have started to promote different projects. And most of the times, those people have led a lot of hype and FOMO into those projects, which sometimes are not necessarily the best projects for you to share. Okay. And so what I think in terms of using influencer marketing and all of that is like, if you want to just create content to build an audience because you really want to express yourself, just like me. Okay. So I just love to express my ideas in terms of Web3 and the future of Web3 and whatever. And so if that's your thing, I believe that that will help you into building a community, because the truth is that you will be building that community in public for other people. Okay, so that's for example what happened with me. Like over the last couple of months, just by being consistent and showing up every single day, I now have a small community on Twitter of people who almost every single week engage with me and ask me how am I and all of that. Okay, and we are like a supportive group. But on the other side, regarding influencers on NFTs or Web3 projects, the big problem that I see is that right now Web3 is like a niche. Is a niche growing really rapidly, but it is a niche. And so there is much more demand than necessarily supply, you know, and if there is someone with a big audience pushing even more for the demand side, it will increase the expectation for a certain project. And if that project doesn't deliver under the expectations that someone created, it will seem like a rug project, a rug pull, okay? And that's exactly what happened with a lot of NFT collections that I believe were really good, but unfortunately, they just fell short because a lot of people promoted much more than what they were able to execute, okay? So yes, I think that influencer marketing regarding community building will have to have here, like, I think that over the next 1 to 2 years, influencers on the crypto and Web3 ecosystem won't be perceived as very good people to follow in terms of business advice and things like this, okay?
Yeah, that's
But
great
this
to
is,
hear, Bernie.
yeah, this is just my opinion, okay? So, yeah.
Yeah, why? Because even if we say that we are doing Web3 marketing, the base or the foundation, it's still Web 2.0 marketing only. It just, you can say the channels, mediums, and the way of approaching like has been changed. And we are going, or we are accustoming ourselves to like Discord, Telegram, or Twitter, like the channels are changing. But
Yes.
deep down, the psychology of, you can say, of influencer, or you can say getting those, because with NFTs, like it's mostly all about hype and larger than, you can say, like project kind of a thing. Then only you attract those eyeballs or giveaways. Like if we can say have that onboarding sequence, then only or a good roadmap, then only that success, or that's the reason we don't have a playbook as such for Web3 marketing or community building as such, because it's not, you can say, certain series of steps that you can have defined already, because every domain or every project is unique in Web3.
Yes.
And hope so,
But
like the influencer marketing doesn't, you can say, go down the Web 2.0 route. And I'm certainly betting on something good with respect to influencing and signaling, because
yeah,
Web 2 marketing, like it was all about clickbaity, and this again, you can say, have gone back to, you can say, square one, where exactly we started with community building on socials and all. And yeah,
yeah.
it's great.
But
Yeah.
just to add my 2 cents on what you said right now, is like, I truly believe that Web3 is going through a moment that we have 2 options. We either grow organically, giving our best by building the best products, the best services, finding the best use cases that serve Web3 or that Web3 serves, or we can go with marketing and hype and FOMO. And I believe that growing organically is the way to grow Web3, like to bring more people to Web3, to find the real use cases, to find and develop products and services to actually solve problems that people face nowadays, okay? So for example, if we take a look at DeFi is solving a heck of a problem, okay? Like they are trying to close the gap of 2+ billion people that in the world have no financial access. This is huge. Like we are talking about people that have no opportunity to buy a house, to rent a car, okay? Nothing like that. So this is a huge pain. And so I truly believe in DeFi, okay? But DeFi has been growing on organically the first years, and then on top of huge yields that I don't believe they will be sustainable in the near future, whatever. But I believe that the future for Web3 right now, in terms both of community building and marketing, it should be organic, as organic as possible. So start slow, start like very slow, and then keep increasing the more your product becomes better and the overall experience and all of that. But I don't know if anyone has any more thoughts that wants to jump here, or any other questions regarding either Vinci or whatever.
I do have one question, Bernie. Thank you so much for organizing this. I would have turned on my camera, but I spent the whole night working on a project and I'm super sleepy, so I apologize for that.
No problem, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, have you had any lessons learned from the first batch of Vinci, and how are you applying those lessons to the second batch? And also, how would you maintain the alumni organization of Vinci after batches go through?
Yes. So regarding the first Vinci's batch, our first batch, it was more about not necessarily just Web3 community building, but much more about how to start building your community, okay? focused on Web3, but also on Twitter and how to use Twitter to start growing your community. And so in terms of overall feedback that we got from there, I can say already that we have started to implement a lot of things. The first thing is, for example, the structure of the course, making sure that we are able to deliver a more structured approach, okay? The second one is, for example, when it comes to the onboarding and some communication, during the first batch, I understood that we had some problems regarding how to communicate with people because some people weren't that used to Discord. And so sometimes I relied just on Discord to come up with them and to talk to them. And so since then, we started to use more distribution in terms of communication. And that's why we are creating a Telegram group and also a Twitter group. Another thing is, for example, regarding retaining alumni, I truly believe that the more high quality both content and overall experience that we can provide on Vinci, the more people will be willing to keep working with us, okay? And while this may seem perhaps a bit naive, I still believe, like, I have been part of Zenek Academy, okay? And Zen Academy is an academy where you just go there and you start talking to people about NFTs. You can jump into multiple rooms that talk about alpha or the business side or the utility or art or whatever, okay? Per collection, per drop, per whatever. And the thing is, the more high quality, high signaling people that you keep bringing, and the more content that you keep creating on top of a certain topic, the more people will keep wanting learning about it, okay? And that's how, at least I believe, that we will be able to keep alumni of the Vinci batches here, is by keep them involved in our activities and keep bringing more people and keep making sure that we keep creating good, high quality content in terms of Web3 community building.
Yeah, thank you so much. That puts it into perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, but Michael, let me ask you, but what do you think? So what are some key activities or key things that we should perhaps try or think about in terms of overall alumni retention? What do you think?
So one of the things I think is to have like an alumni organization where, let's say, like an exclusive alumni Discord or Telegram where we can collaborate on projects that we're working on. For instance, when people leave Vinci, they go on to build Web3 communities, right? So we need an avenue for them to come back and leverage the community that they've built in Vinci as the community continues to grow. And so it's more like accessibility to their peers when they were in the Vinci batch, and with also new members coming in, and to have another avenue for alumni to share their stories with current Vinci applicants and current Vinci participators. So if someone goes on to build a huge Web3 community, so they can come back and give talks and speeches about what they did and learn firsthand from them.
Yeah. Okay. I was here just taking some notes, okay? Because as I'm saying, like, we are building while learning, and we are learning while we are building. So yeah, that's it. And thank you for your input. Yeah, thank George. I have here Ratish and George. So I don't know. Okay, Ratish, go ahead. I can hear you.
Can't hear you, Ratish.
No.
Should I just ask away while Ratish figures out? Oh, there we go.
Weird.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you can.
All right. Awesome. Great. Hey, Bernie, big fan of the work you guys do. Been following for quite some time. This is Ratish from WGMI DAO. We've been firefighting for a year, something on the similar space about building more community managers, kind of building boot camps and curriculums around it. So it's amazing to see more work in that area, and I'm super proud to be a part of this cohort. Thanks for getting me in.
And thanks for being here, my man.
Sweet. So Bernie, my question would be to the curriculum that you guys are going to take us through, or the cohort through, right? Do we get to take a look at it today, or is it just going to be unveiled week on week? Because I was going through the slides while you were changing them, and I noticed that it says certain topics would be covered by you, and the others would be subject matter experts or mentors or leaders in the Web3 ecosystem who would lead it, correct? So would these be workshops? Would this be hands-on, or would this be like pre-recorded, something that we need to listen to, and then
Yeah. So first of all, yes, I'll share with all of you between today and tomorrow the rest of the curriculum. Okay, I have been still setting it up and making sure that I can talk about different topics, but I can showcase already some bullet points or some key bullet points. So the goal for the batch is for the batch to last at least 3 weeks. During these 3 weeks, today is the first kickoff session, and the next 3 weeks, every Thursday, we will have a lesson just like this one. Okay, and during these lessons, the goal will be, so the first one is, what is a community? Why are communities so big? What are some key differentiators when comparing Web2 communities and Web3 communities? And why do communities play such an important role in Web3? Okay, so the next week session, it will be more about jumping into building a community. Where should I start? What does that mean? And go through some fundamentals. Okay, my goal for the second week is to start showcasing how on the current landscape in Web3, how to start actually building a community by jumping on Twitter, how building an audience or having an audience can help you leverage the community building side and bringing more people to the community and things like this. Okay, and on the third week, the third lesson, what I want to jump into is more about automation and some bots and how to prep a good Discord and things like this. Okay, and so every single week, so for the next 3 weeks, I'll try to bring people that can also talk about these aspects on how, for example, someone has started a community by sharing their background first on how they started to become a community manager, a Web3 community manager, where did their background started, things like these, and then to showcase or to share some of their insights and learnings on building a community. And those learnings, they can be like how I've started, or how things are going, or how we are trying to grow it, or how we are using this and that tool to manage the overall community. So there are a lot of different topics that we can jump into. Okay, and who are these guests? So I really want to try 2 things here. On one side, I really want to give stage to the people that are already in our community. Okay, so it may be, for example, you, Ratish. I can, for example, ask you to give a lesson. I can, for example, ask Michael to share their learnings and his insights, so to share and to bring all of you or each one of you on different topics to share your experience and insights with the rest of the group. And another thing is to bring people from outside the community, like people with good audiences, people that have been building good projects and things like this, for them to also share their learnings, their insights, and things like this. Okay, so I really want to make sure that I can have, or at least find a good balance. And once again, feel always free to suggest any other way, because I know that building a community is like a long thing. It isn't about building a feature. So we are not envisioning to build Vinci in 6 months. We want to build Vinci for the next 10 years, so we know that we have to come up with the right fundamentals and the right moments for people to keep coming and to keep learning and all of that. So let me know if my answer was enough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely makes sense. So if I understand correctly, it's 3 sessions in the next 3 weeks, right?
Yes, 3 sessions every Thursday, and then we will add on top of those sessions with guest speakers. Okay, so for example, it can be something like every Tuesday we have a guest speaker, and every Thursday we have a lesson just like the one we had today. Okay, and the goal is to everyone from this batch will always have access to the guest speakers, to future sessions with future guest speakers, while next batches will start once again this live batch. So next batch will learn the current lesson and we'll start from there and things like that. This is what we have currently envisioned for the next like 3 months in terms of live batches and educating people. Okay.
Got it, Bernie. I can't wait. Super excited. Thanks for having me here.
And thank you for your question and your time, Ratish. Thank you, my man.
Is it okay to ask now, Bernie?
Yes, you can. Yeah, the stage is yours.
My question is, will we cover, my hunch is not, but will we cover any of the legal aspects of being a community builder in this space? Because it's something that I've noticed a lot of community builders do not take into consideration. But you know, as you scale up, this actually can become a pretty big issue.
Okay, to be honest, I've never thought about it. Okay, so I've never thought about talking about legal aspects, while I know that legal will have to become a thing, because
yes,
having contributors on a DAO it will end up being exactly like having employees sometimes, or freelance people or whatever. It will become the future of work. And so that means that these DAOs, they will have to start having, for example, contracts or agreements of work or working agreements, whatever, with these people to protect them, to have some benefits, whatever. Okay, so I know already that the legal aspect will be huge in terms of the near future for DAOs and Web3 projects and communities, but I have no knowledge to be able to speak about that topic. What I can do is, like, if you have anyone that you can suggest us to invite to the group, that's awesome. If not, I can try to tap into someone that has more expertise. Or for example, Lyle is here saying that we did a great talk with a Web3 focused lawyer at Invisible College several months back. I bet he'd be down to come in and chat. Great, Lyle. So if you can just share that contact, we can perhaps come back to him. And I know, for example, LexDAO is a DAO that I've joined a couple of months ago also. And they are just focused on all things legal in the crypto and Web3 space. So I believe that perhaps we can find there even an attorney to come here and talk about those topics with us. And thank you for bringing that topic. I've never thought about it.
Yeah, no, not a problem. It's just that, you know, if you look at some of the trends right now too, right, as a lot of, say, NFT projects are getting larger and more prominent, and also trying to have collaborations with people outside of the Web3 space, you know, even I think, is it Basie? I think they've filed some trademark lawsuits already against, you know, artists copying, etc. And, you know, as we know with these collections, trademark protection for artists, you know, there are a lot of issues on OpenSea around this. I think it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but I know as a, you know, fellow community builder and talking to others in the space, more and more I'm hearing about them being worried about their own participation in DAOs, in NFT projects because of these issues. Because essentially, if you don't look at those things up front when you're starting out, it becomes a big issue if you do get big. And it's one of those balancing acts, right? Because you don't want to stop people from building and starting. But I think that's one of the unique things about this particular space, because essentially contracts, whether they're smart contracts or not, they are contracts, and that can be legally enforced.
Yeah. And that's a very strong point. That's a very good point. And thanks for bringing that. Because yes, ultimately, if DAOs will become the future of businesses, and contributing to DAOs and NFT communities will become the future of work, then yes, we have there a huge legal pain point that we have to go through first. And it is indeed very good for us to have some sort of a perspective on how to deal with all of that. And like, for example, here in Portugal, I know that, for example, we are extremely libertine in terms of all things crypto, but when compared with the US, because I know that right now the US Senate and the Congress and all of that, they are trying to come hard on top of crypto and things like those. And yes, so thanks for that. And I'm seeing here on our chat, so Lyle, let me know if we can reach that person. And also John, I don't know who is that Ross from Cali DAO, But yes, if they are a spin-off from LexDAO, that would be awesome to bring him too. We can even have like 2 different people providing 2 different perspectives on the same call. So yeah, let me know if any of you know any of these people for me to reach out to them. If not, I will send a message to these DAOs and let's see how we go from there. Okay, so friends, I don't know if anyone else has any other question. So what I will do is I will upload. Yeah, Adabala.
Will we interact with the batch 1 people in any way? Like, will there be a call with batch 1 and batch 2 alumni?
Yes, we can do that work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let me take a note of that too, because at the end, what happened is that all of you have your own Discord room, so a private room for all of you from the batch 2, and the batch 1 has also a private room, but the general channel is open for everyone, and that's how we want to keep building the Discord. Is like each batch will have their own private room to talk about all things batch, but then have the general room and other rooms like the curate, the promote your stuff, and etc., where you can find a bunch of other people from other batches. So yes, but I'll make sure to contact all the alumni from the first batch for them to be able to also talk with you and perhaps share some insights on some of the things that we have gone through.
Can we have Jenica as guest speaker on one Tuesday?
Sorry?
Can we have Jen as a guest speaker from Jen Academy, Jenica?
You are asking if we can have someone from the Zen Academy?
Jen Academy founder.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. What do you mean from the Academy founder?
I guess so, Bernie, he is asking about if we can bring along Zen Academy's founder. I'm not quite sure who is the founder for Zen Academy, but he's insisting to bring
the founder
along.
is Zeneca.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
The founder is Zeneca. Yes, I'll try to reach out to him. Okay. He's a huge person with a huge audience and huge responsibilities. So I know that it won't be easy, at least not next week, naturally, but I'll try to bring people like him too. Okay. I really want to keep bringing people like Greg Eisenberg. I want to keep him. I want to bring him. I want to also bring, for example, Nick from the Invisible College, Peter Young from the Odyssey DAO, and people like this. Okay, people with experience. I want to bring, for example, Nader from Developer DAO. They are perhaps the bigger DAO out there for developers. So yes, we will make our best to bring the best people out there building communities and with some community building experience. Okay. And by the way, feel always free to keep suggesting people because I don't know everybody. And so just feel free, like if you want to suggest anyone, just say that, write that on the Discord server, and yeah, and even give me their Twitter account or something like that for me to try to reach them out or make an intro naturally.
Only I have a note question. I guess here folks are like quite experienced with respect to community management and stuff like that. I myself have started a couple of months back, so still gearing up. So I'm looking something specific for 0 to 1 strategy kind of thing, or just you can say warming up my audience and stuff like that. Me being a noob with respect to DeFi and all, it's quite you can say overwhelming task with respect to the domain itself. So last couple of weeks have been quite challenging with me with respect to community and as well as DeFi space. So do we have any resources like for a noob, for beginners, how exactly to get started, those conversations started? because if you don't know the domain very well, if you have not studied, you cannot directly go ahead and ask questions, random questions, or just cannot go ahead and just type GM and start those conversations. There has to be some or the other thing that common interest that should spark for this conversation. So how exactly a beginner like me can get onto those ropes? Like any resources, any links, anything I can check out?
Yes, but let me ask you what are you trying to start? Is building an audience? Is that it, or?
Yeah, but it's with respect
I think
to
memes
DeFi.
are a great way.
Yeah, but memes are not easy as well unless you know the context, or you can say an internal, you can say joke or humor around it. If you don't get that because sometimes I find memes here in India, these are quite different from the memes that we see like coming up from the Bay Area or something like that. Those contexts are quite different. Sometimes match, sometimes does not match. So memes are like totally different. And with DeFi, specific DeFi space, like I have a lot of, you can say, questions on memes and all those conversations get started. So community building, like I'm a digital marketing generalist myself. I never had any issue, you can say, starting with conversations or meeting with people and stuff like that. But with DeFi, like it's kind of myself, like I'm very, you can say, very spectacular, very, you can say, I fear it like most of the times, because I think like I don't have that expertise to get started. So how I can overcome this fear about the space itself? It's just about the knowledge that I need to gear up with, simultaneously working on this community thing, or like how can I get started?
Yeah, so regarding DeFi, so first of all, I think you are touching here a very important topic, which is being a community builder or community manager or a community professional is a profession that will have to be adapted into each vertical. Like if you are a community manager on an NFT collection, your work is very different from someone on a DeFi protocol or a DeFi bank. Because like on DeFi protocols, you may have your own customers coming in and you have to serve some customer support. But for example, on NFTs, on an NFT collection, the support is already to your customers who are your community members, who are the people minding your collection, so it's a full circle. So yes, I think perhaps we can even do something like have resources or have different rooms regarding some verticals, like for DeFi and NFTs and things like these, where people on these different verticals can even share some insights with each other. I think that would be a very cool addition to the Discord. Regarding resources, yes, I have a bunch of resources on DeFi because back at Deloitte, back then I was, they invited me back then to start their crypto and DeFi offering. So I was on the first team building the crypto and DeFi offering at Deloitte. So I have a bunch of different things regarding DeFi and how to start with DeFi. So just like, let me know, send me a DM on Discord and it will be easier. Or just go on general and ask me like, hey, Bernie, please don't forget the resources on DeFi. Okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so friends, I need to wrap up here. We have been here for 1 hour. So yeah, let me know what you think about this first lesson. Let me know some of your ideas. I hope that you have enjoyed this kickstart, this kickoff session. And I wish you all a great week, a great weekend, and see you on Discord and next week also. So, okay.
Bernie, thank you so much for having us here. Good day.
Thank you, my man. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Bernie. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks.
See you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all, and let's keep working. Let's keep building. Okay.
WGMY.
See you all.
Yeah. NFG.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you next week.